Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Wednesday Wisdom. My name is JB Hilliard, and these are short video snippets designed to answer questions that you may have about estate planning or probate, or maybe there are other legal concerns that may be impacting your household. And for this week, I had a question posed to me earlier in the week, so I thought I'd delve a little deeper into that subject matter, and that is with regard to estate planning and when a person or a family needs or wants a trust. So we all know or should know if you've been watching any of these videos over the years, that a trust is merely another tool or vehicle used to transfer assets to your loved ones, to your family members and your loved ones. And one of the first things I always ask clients or even potential clients when they say, I want to do a trust, I'll always ask why. So, once you get through that initial conversation and planning piece as to the whys and what objectives you want this trust vehicle or trust tool to achieve for you and your family, then you get into the mechanics of creating the trust agreement document itself and then funding the trust to bring it to life. But one of the things that I think, just in my opinion, may not be discussed as much is what happens once the trust is established and once this thing does come alive. So there is this thing called trust administration. So that's sort of the next phase of things. And what a lot of people don't realize is that, while the trust, one of the main objectives, I would say, for a lot of people, at least that I've talked to and dealt with, is to avoid probate and avoid that court intervention process, and make it easier for your beneficiaries once you pass away. Well, the other side of that is with a trust, there's that trust administration piece. So just very generally speaking, when you administer a trust, whether it's your trust that you've created and you're the initial trustee for a living trust, and then you have some successor trustees after you pass away, whoever is serving in that role, the responsibilities are the same. So you're not only transferring assets, to the beneficiaries at the time designated in the trust provisions, but you first have to inventory those assets and value those assets and determine what titling should occur or should take place, how to determine how those assets are going to be titled. You have to manage and track liabilities and expenses. Are there costs to administering or managing this trust? And I can tell you, more than likely there will be. You have to think about things like providing accounting reports to the beneficiaries. So if you're not the sole beneficiary of your own trust, um, there may be a provision that you put in there to provide periodic reporting, maybe once a year. But keep in mind that those beneficiaries are entitled to know the status of the trust assets at any time. So upon their request, you should be able to provide that information. So you have to keep track. You have to keep track of what's coming in and what's going out. And then be able to regularly communicate with those beneficiaries. Just even before they request anything, you have to be able to give them status of the trust assets, or if particularly if you're coming to that point of distribution, how those distributions are going to be made, what is required of them in order to perfect the title, things like that. And that's just scratching the surface. So there are a lot of things to consider in how you set up the trust and then how that trust is to be administered, which is then still more important to really figure out who those successors are, or even if you want to take yourself out of that equation, if you don't want to deal with that, but who your trustees are going to be that will be able to handle the mechanics of the trust as well as the communication aspect in dealing with all the different people involved as far as the beneficiaries and any other people involved in that trust management. So, with that said, I know that was a mouthful in a short amount of time, but just to kind of um, tickle your ear a little bit and give you something else to think about when you say, "Oh, I think I need a trust." Well, we're gonna delve a little deeper into that discussion and figure out why, and then make sure that's something that you need and something that you want. So with that said, as always, I thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.